OK. Keir Starmer is reportedly considering a Brexit betrayal by handing more of our fishing rights to the EU in exchange for a defence deal. It mightn't surprise you, but what do you think of this? Because this comes as France is said to be threatening to block our involvement in a new UK-EU pact to counter Russian aggression unless we increase their quota.
But what impact would that have on our fishing industry here at home? Well, that is a question for Fisherman Andrew Carter, who joins us live now from Whitehaven. Good to see you this morning, Andrew. And what do you make of this? How would this impact you as a fisherman?
Well, it'll massively impact us. I'm hoping that it's some form of a joke, and surely you wouldn't do that. We're an island nation that struggles to feed itself. And the one thing that we can feed ourselves with is fish. We've got a great fishery. And for somebody to negotiate with such a thing when we've been absolutely decimated in the past, it's just a kick in the teeth for fishermen.
Andrew, you sound absolutely exhausted talking about this. I mean, it really does sound like the nail in the coffin for you.
Well, it is. I mean, myself, I've got sort of 7 boats, 7 crews, 7 families. Well, more than 7 families, because some of the boats have like 4 families, 4 guys on the boat. To try and keep wages for them and things like that, it's just an absolute nightmare. I mean, for argument's sake, last year, our quota for Dover sole was cut for 3 months, each month, from 400 kilos to 25 kilos. That's a difference in, with the 400 kilos, there's a potential of £8,000 we could catch in a month with the sole, to be cut down to £500. So then I'm telling me, lads, look, lads, it isn't viable for you to go for 3 months fishing. So what they do then is they go and they turn around and they get a job on a building site or what have you, and say, oh, well, that's great. Then what happens is when the quota comes back, all right, well, that's fine, but I'm not coming back. So then I've got £500,000 boat sitting there that's got no crew.
Have you been getting a load of spam in your email recently? What about random calls? It's really annoying, isn't it? Data brokers are out there collecting your personal information. Anything from your email, your full name, your address, and even your political affiliation. Cyber criminals can even use AI to mimic the voices of friends and family to trick people into sending them money. And it gets even worse. People out there are getting huge loans taken out in their names without even knowing about it. But don't worry, because the sponsor of this video, Incogni, can help. They reach out to the data brokers on your behalf and request that your information is removed from their databases. Incogni continues to make sure that your data is removed automatically from the internet via repeated removal requests. So, how can you get started? Well, step 1, hit the link in the description, create an Incogni account and tell us whose data you'd like removed. Step 2, grant Incogni the right to work on your behalf. Step 3, sit back, relax and watch Incogni work. They will update consistently so you know when your data has been removed. Incogni is risk-free for 30 days, so you can try it for yourself and you'll get a free refund if the service isn't for you. So take back your personal data today with Incogni. Use the code GBNews using the link in the description below and you'll get 60% off an annual payment plan.
The knock-on effect is
of course there is. These are the logistics of all of this, Andrew, the things that nobody ever hears about. Oscar Reddrop, who's sitting in the studio with us, Oscar once had a job where he would advise politicians into making policy. And the thing, Oscar, I just wanted, when you talk to Andrew there and he's saying 7 boats, 7 crews, 7 families involved in all of this, it gives me the impression that often political advice would be quite light on all of this. People they're not seeing the consequences that man is having to bear.
Well, it's interesting. You almost feel a bit of guilt because in Westminster, you get people like me who quite frankly don't have a great deal of real life experience. And that's in some ways quite an exposed thing to admit, but it's true, it's the reality. And they will sit round tables and they will seek advice from civil servants who, similarly, don't have real-life impact, understanding and experience. And you do think if there were people like you sat round those tables when big decisions like this are being discussed and made, that you would at least hope a few of those politicians who do live in a bubble, advisors who try their best not to, but also live in bubbles, it would register with them more. And I think, I mean, it's brilliant you've come on the show to talk about this, and you do just hope, like, get in the real world, Keir Starmer. And again, I'm not being political, because I was part of a previous government that made similarly probably bad decisions on the ground, but get in the real world and listen to how people will be affected on the ground.
Andrew, that's really honest there from Oscar, from the Westminster perspective. What do you make of politicians? Do you think they've got any understanding of what fishermen and fisherwomen in this country are going through?
No, they don't. But they're not interested either. I've been to so many meetings last year with, for argument's sake, DEFRA, the fisheries, the MMO, as many meetings, sea fish, to try and, you know, come on, let's sort of get your best price for your catch and things. When you look at, farmers have been nailed and things like that in the past, but when you look at a farmer, like the subsidies for farmers, so what they'll do with a farmer is they'll turn around to a farmer and say, right, OK, we don't want you to produce that. We want your field to go arable. Just leave it, grow trees, what have you, that's fine. And we'll give you money to do that. If my boats don't go out and we don't catch, because all these guys are share fishermen, the politicians haven't got a clue. And it's all right saying, well, bring these politicians out. I mean, I can honestly say, and this is hand on heart, the first time in 58 years, I'm ashamed to be British. I'm absolutely ashamed. We're a weak nation. We're a laughing stock around the world. And what we need a good negotiator. We need good leaders and strong leaders. And I mean, to give things away like our fishing and all that, that's just a kick in the teeth for me. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's very easy for me to be able to say, look, I'll tell you what, I'll sell all my boats, I'll sell everything up. But that doesn't help my crews struggling for what they call it. I don't think they care about us. We've got no support whatsoever, no financial support, nothing at all.
Sadly, I think what you said is true, Andrew, and very powerful hearing you express yourself there today, because the point I was just trying to raise with Andrew is, what experience do any of us have? What experience do advisors have in carrying out? They say, sign this away. And the consequences for someone like you, just absolutely incredible. The consequences for Whitehaven. Yeah. What would this mean for Whitehaven?
Well, to be honest, listen, we're a coastal community, and coastal communities right down the coast, all round. It's a declining industry for the fishing, and I mean it's been so underinvested that it's a joke. If we lose quotas, any more quota, it is literally pointless what is going on. And to be honest, which he's talking about negotiating for defence or you know, because, you know, just to stop the boats, what I can gather, and things like that. And the biggest boats bringing refugees into this country is our own boats. I mean, you know, what happens is that our own boats are bringing them in because we're so politically correct. Why aren't the French?
Sorry to hear all of this, but the clock is against us, unfortunately. But thank you for taking the time for expressing your story, giving us the inside view on all of this. We really appreciate it, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for giving us a voice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. And important to hear Andrew's voice as well, because you very rarely hear the voice of a fisherman in this country. So thank you, Andrew, for that. Very powerful.